I remember it like it was yesterday, a chill in the air, the smell of damp earth, and the sound of leaves crunching beneath our feet. The forest was vast, stretching out as far as the eye could see, a sea of green under the clear azure sky. It was just us, a group of friends on an adventure, far from the hustle and bustle of the city. We had set up our camp near a deserted road that snaked its way alongside the forest, a silent companion to our wilderness excursion. As the sun began to sink, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, we sat around the campfire. The tranquility was almost palpable, the only sounds being the crackling fire and our soft laughter. Suddenly, the calm was shattered by a distinct growl that echoed through the stillness. It was a noise we all recognized, the powerful roar of a high-performance engine. Our heads turned in unison towards the deserted road, just in time to see a red Ferrari tearing past. Its headlights cut through the growing darkness, a pair of blazing eyes in the night. But something was off. As the car whizzed past, we realized there was no driver. The Ferrari, a phantom on wheels, sped down the road before vanishing into the inky blackness of the night. A silence descended on our group, the laughter and chatter replaced by a palpable unease. We exchanged glances, each of us trying to make sense of what we had just witnessed. Was it a trick of the light, a figment of our collective imagination? Or was there something more sinister at play? As the reality of what we had seen began to sink in, the once comforting crackle of the campfire became a grim reminder of our isolation. We were alone in the wilderness, miles away from civilization, with only the echo of the engine still ringing in our ears. The mystery of the driverless car hung in the air like a bad omen, casting a shadow over our camping trip. We were left with only the echo of the engine, the mystery of the driverless car hanging in the air like a bad omen. The rest of the night was filled with uneasy laughter as we tried to brush off the incident. We thought we could dismiss it as a mere trick of the light, a figment of our overactive imaginations. We wanted to believe it was the creaking of the aged trees, the rustling of the untamed underbrush, or the nocturnal creatures that made their homes in the forest's depth. We tried to convince ourselves it was anything but a spectral Ferrari with no driver. The fire was our beacon, our sanctuary in the wilderness, its flickering light casting dancing shadows on our faces. We huddled closer, the comfort of camaraderie a thin veil against the growing unease that gnawed at our courage. We tried to drown the silence with laughter and stories, but our voices echoed hollow in the vast expanse of the forest. But the forest, once a haven of nature's tranquility, now bore an eerie silence. The crickets ceased their symphony, the owls their hooting. It was as if the forest was holding its breath, bracing for an unseen storm. Our laughter faded, replaced by an unnerving quietude. The shadows seemed to grow deeper, darker, and every rustle, every snap of a twig amplified our fears. The air was thick with an unspoken terror, a palpable dread that hugged us tighter than the darkness. Our eyes darted to every corner, seeking out the source of our discomfort. The faint whispers of the wind seemed to carry voices, indistinct yet eerily familiar. Fleeting shadows flitted on the periphery of our vision, darting away when we turned to look. The night was filled with strange occurrences we couldn't explain. A cold gust of wind suddenly extinguishing the fire, the rustling leaves that sounded like hushed whispers, the fleeting shadows that seemed to lurk just out of sight. We were trapped in a symphony of suspense, with the unseen as the conductor. As the night deepened, so did our fear. The forest no longer felt like our sanctuary but a trap, hiding something sinister. When dawn broke, we were relieved. Little did we know the real horror was just beginning. With the first light of day, we felt an ominous force nudging us, urging us to pack our things and abandon the once inviting forest. The chirping of the birds felt like a mournful dirge, the rustling leaves whispering warnings in our ears. We couldn't shake off the feeling that we were being driven out, pushed away by an unseen entity. As we neared the deserted road, a familiar sight struck our eyes. There it was, the Ferrari, standing still, lifeless, a stark contrast to its previous menacing demeanor. It bore no signs of life, no human presence. It was just an empty shell, a ghost of its former self. A curious yet fearful decision led us to inspect the car. We hoped to find some answers, some clue to the previous night's terror. The car was empty, the silence inside it unnerving. But then, as if mocking our futile attempts, the radio flickered to life. An old song, eerie and haunting, filled the air. The melody, so chilling, so mesmerizing, seemed to seep into our bones, freezing us in our tracks. It was as if the song was a sinister lullaby, lulling us into a dreadful trance. The song echoed in our ears, the haunting melody a grim reminder of the night's terror. The words seemed to hang in the air, a chilling testament to the unseen horrors we'd encountered. And then, the unthinkable happened. The car's engine roared to life, the sound shattering the eerie silence. We watched in disbelief as the car started moving, the wheels crunching the gravel beneath. But the driver's seat, it was still empty. As the Ferrari disappeared into the distance, the chilling melody of the song still echoed in our ears, a grim reminder of the night's terror, and we were left standing there on the deserted road, the dread of the unknown gnawing at us. The car started moving, but the driver's seat, it was still empty. The chilling reality of these words sent a wave of inescapable dread coursing through us. Our adventure had turned into a nightmare, one we'd never forget. Picture this. A night as dark as coal, two friends, Jack and Tom, and a deserted road stretching out into nothingness. A perfect backdrop for an adventure, or so they thought. Jack, with his devil-may-care attitude, and Tom, always up for a thrill, were out for a late-night drive. The monotony of their journey was shattered by the sudden appearance of a sleek red Ferrari. It cut through the darkness, overtaking them at breakneck speed, its taillights flickering like red eyes in the rearview mirror. The chill in the air became more pronounced, goosebumps prickling their skin. As they watched the Ferrari race ahead, an unsettling realization dawned on them. The car was seemingly driverless. No silhouette against the dim light of the dashboard, no hands on the steering wheel, nothing. The deserted road was no longer just them and their car, but them, their car, and a mysterious, driverless Ferrari. As the Ferrari zoomed past them, an inexplicable sense of dread washed over Jack and Tom. The sleek red machine, a symbol of power and speed, was now a harbinger of something sinister. It was as if time and space were bending around it, the Ferrari disappearing into the shadows, only to re-emerge in their rearview mirror, closer each time. The chase had turned into a haunting waltz, a dance of death between their car and the phantom Ferrari. No matter how they twisted and turned, accelerated or braked, the Ferrari was a relentless pursuer, always looming in their rearview mirror. It seemed uncannily sentient, like a predator stalking its prey, a driverless demon on wheels. In the midst of this eerie chase, the radio in their car, previously playing a lively rock anthem, started to emit a bone-chilling static. The rhythm of the static grew more intense, mirroring the pounding of their hearts. Out of the white noise, a voice slithered, whispering their names, "Jack, Tom," in an ominous, ghostly tone. The voice seemed to be coming from everywhere and nowhere, a spectral siren song drawing them deeper into fear. Suddenly the temperature in the car plunged, a frosty chill replacing the previous warmth. Their breath fogged up the windshield, the world outside becoming a blurry, surreal landscape. Amidst the fog and fear, ghostly apparitions started to appear. Spectral figures flitted around them, their faces a blur, their presence a tangible reminder of the uncanny chase they were in. The world inside their car had warped, the usual hum of the engine now a monstrous growl, the comforting leather seats now icy and uninviting. Their sanctuary had transformed into a haunted house on wheels, a spectral stage for their tormentor, the ghostly Ferrari. The once comforting confines of their car now felt like a trap, a deathly cage on wheels with a spectral Ferrari playing the grim reaper. The chase was far from over, and the nightmare was just beginning. Just when they thought things couldn't get any worse, the Ferrari pulled up right alongside their car. A cold shiver ran down their spines as they realized the haunting synchrony of the ghostly vehicle. Its engine roared, matching their speed, as if engaged in a chilling dance of dread. The whispering voice that had been a mere murmur until now, grew louder, echoing in their ears. It was a laughter, a chilling, mocking laughter that seemed to emanate from the very depths of their fears. The apparitions previously fleeting now became more frequent, adding to the mounting horror. The car's headlights began to flicker, casting eerie shadows that danced in the pitch-black night. The boys felt their hearts pounding, their breaths hitching as they tried to maintain control, but control was a distant memory. They were no longer in control. They were puppets in a nightmarish show, with the haunted Ferrari pulling the strings. In a desperate attempt to break free, Jack swerves the car sharply, aiming for a narrow exit ahead. The night air is filled with the sounds of screeching tires against the cold, unforgiving asphalt. The blaring car horn pierces through the otherwise silent night, serving as a futile cry for help. Their hearts pound in their chests, the deafening rhythm matching the intensity of their predicament. Every breath they take tastes of fear, as they cling onto the hope of escape. Just when they dare to believe they've outsmarted their spectral pursuer, a cold chill runs down their spines. The eerie laughter rings out once again, echoing through the desolate roads. The haunted Ferrari reappears in their rearview mirror, its ghostly glow a terrifying reminder of the chase. As their car hurtles down the exit, the Ferrari right on their tail, the screen fades to black. The chilling laughter echoes one last time, leaving us to wonder what happened to Jack and Tom.